Hello, and this is the update for uh, oof, Wednesday, October 14th, 2020. It's about 8 o'clock. Um, Slept well. I here's a quick update on the weighted blanket that I talked about. I don't know, like a couple weeks ago now, maybe. Time, really no concept of time at this point. Um, so a little while ago, I had purchased a weighted blanket, a 20-pound weighted blanket off of Amazon. And the first night was great, and the second night was also good, except that there was my room got very, very warm. Didn't do the climate control thing, as well as it's almost like this ritual that we have that like Joe knocks down the um, Joe comes to bed a little later than I do, and he knocks down the temperature when he comes to bed, so that in the middle of the night when I start feeling like I heat up, the temperature is lower, and we just didn't coordinate that. Or I was just like, I don't think we need it. I think it's okay, or whatever, and we didn't end up doing that the second night that I had the weighted blanket. So I ended up getting up in the middle of the night and sort of relocating myself to a cooler area in our place. And so I didn't have the weighted blanket the entire time with me. But I would say that since then, there's been a couple nights where here and there, like I'll toss. Well, not I don't see. The thing is, I don't toss and turn. I think because the weighted blanket just keeps you in place or keeps me in place. So there's I guess just a restfulness and just having this weight that's on you and just sort of like keeping you still or grounded or um, not like your body like literally not being restless. And if it's not restless, then maybe you don't experience restlessness. I don't know, but I feel like it has been good. I really, I, it's not what I expected, but I quite like it. My only, and this is a personal thing, and just because of what I am going through, is that I have this drainage tube that's connected to the side of my body. So there is a tube that's inside and it runs outside. So there is um, this tender area that I have on my side, and depending on how that's feeling, the weight on it can sometimes be a little uncomfortable, or I can feel the discomfort of that. But if I position myself in such a way that it doesn't feel like it's affecting it, or if my arm is taking the weight of the blanket or something like that, generally isn't a problem. Even though earlier, I guess during this weekend when there was quite a bit of leakage that was going on with it, and I was feeling quite a bit of pain with it, that the weighted blanket just sort of added to kind of adding pressure, excuse me, to that part of my tenderness, the tenderness of the where I was feeling with the drainage tube and everything. But that's just a circumstantial thing. It's not the the blanket's problem. Because overall, I think that the blanket is great. And if you're interested in checking it out, I'll put a link below. It's an affiliate link if you happen to click on that and buy something from Amazon. Doesn't cost you anything extra. I think I get a little bit of a commission from that. It's there. So if you want to check it out, it's there. I Yesterday was an interesting day. So I started out feeling a lot better waking up than I had maybe the day or so, the last couple days or so, because I wasn't experiencing any pain from that drainage tube, as I mentioned. I went to the nurse's clinic on Monday, so that would have been a couple days ago, and then just been kind of keeping an eye on that area of the drainage tube. It is leaking a little bit, and as a result of it leaking a little bit, I am feeling a little bit of pain because I guess the leakage and sort of the open wound nature of what that is not exactly the best thing. Like you have to, keep it clean and dry, I think. But it's not. And if I remember correctly, I was told that in the hospital at Princess Margaret Hospital, the nurse there said that I should expect some leakage. I don't know. I'm gonna go with that because, to be honest with you, I am not in any hurry to go back to the IR department that was the one that installed the drainage tube and everything like that, just because my experience with them. I mean, like I said, there's a couple of folks there who've been great, and I'm so glad that they were there throughout my situation or my experience with them. But as a whole, I just haven't. It's been challenging, so I don't want to find myself going back there because I don't know. There's always something that's been a little bit off about it. So I do have my next nurse's clinic to get the dressing cleaned up tomorrow. So I'm hoping that the pain will just kind of be just moderate to just wherever it is right now, and that it'll stay, and it'll just kind of be the cycle of just me, as long as it gets cleaned up every few days, that there might just be a little bit of discomfort as a result of some leakage that's going to happen maybe toward the when it gets closer to the to visit to the clinic. We'll see. I'm hoping that is how it can go. Next week, though, there are more hospital visits. I think next week's going to be pretty busy, actually, because I'm sure there's going to be nurses' clinics, and on top of that, I am going to be going to the hospital, getting my bilirubin number checked, and just for them to see how I'm doing, and potentially starting chemo maybe in next week, which, again, I haven't looked too much into. I think maybe as the days are drawing closer to that, or the possibility of that, if I let my mind wander, I worry about that. But there are still so much to do between now and then, so I'll just bring my mind back to say, all right, what do I have to deal with right now? So, and what I'm having to deal with right now are just lots of odds and ends at home. Just there's a lot of stuff that you accumulate over time, and you think that you might need or want at a different time, when then you look at it and you're like, no, this isn't anything I'm ever probably going to use again. So trying to get a lot of that stuff sorted out and wrapping things up work-wise, and that is very emotional and very challenging, and that's still something that will be ongoing for another little while. So that's something that will continue to be something that I'm having to do for the next few days. And so by the end of yesterday, I was just feeling pretty down about stuff, and I think that I hadn't been eating as healthfully as perhaps I have been up to about a week ago or so. Maybe sort of comfort eating a little bit more. And there's something yesterday that I ended up having for dinner, which was just some tomato sauce and some rice that didn't seem to agree with me, or my digestion anyway. And so that got me down, because that didn't feel good. It also reminded me of how this whole thing started. That's how I felt a lot. Just my digestion not feeling good. or like I'm not feeling good because things weren't digesting well. And then on top of that, with my concern about this tube and whether there is pain or leakage or something like that, that worries me. And I don't know. I was just in a mental and emotional space yesterday where I was like, gosh, like is this gonna be how it's gonna be, right? Like, is this how am I always gonna feel like somewhat crappy or shitty in some way, shape, or form all the time? And I think that got me down. And I think also when I'm tired by the end of the day, that can also get me down. So, and Joe, like, bless his heart, like, he is so patient with me. That's the thing about Joe. Like, he is such an incredibly good person, and he's always been incredibly patient. And I mean, we've had our spats about things here and there, as you know, two people would, but I can come in pretty hot and intense about things, and he is just sort of the guy who will create space and just, you know, chill things down and calm it down and not be reactive. And like, he's had his fair struggles through this whole thing. I think having gone to the hospital and seeing the people who are on our team helped him feel more at ease with what's going on. So that's been great. And like, what was happening for me yesterday, where I was just down and just not responsive and tired, he just, you know, made sure that I was comfortable in bed, tucked me in, hung out with me, kind of listened to me talk about like how, you know, I get down about stuff sometimes, and like how it could be, you know, a little disheartening sometimes, but he sat and he just listened and he just stroked my shoulder, and that was just a nice way. And then made sure that he asked me what he would like for him to do about the temperature, to knock it down maybe before he went to bed, so that it would be comfortable for me throughout the night. So, and it was. I had a nice sleep, and I'm feeling a lot better now, but those moments can be really hard. So, and one of the things that Joe was saying yesterday is that it would be nice for me to get out, because yesterday I didn't really get outside. I was thinking I had a number of things that I had to get done, and certain like time-based things that I had to do. And afterwards I thought, oh, maybe I'll go for a walk, but I just didn't. And I think that it's true. I think Joe was right that it does affect me mentally and emotionally when I'm just cooped up inside all day. So one of the first things that we're going to do today actually is pick up a portable air conditioner that we're buying in mid-October, that I sourced out from Kijiji. The building that we live in has an on-off. They switch over from an air conditioning situation to a heating situation, and when that happens, when people start turning on the heat in this building, it gets very, very warm. It's just been something that has just historically happened over time, and just decided that we actually have had a portable air conditioner in the past, but the one that we've had, which was also bought, I think, from somebody online, was just a really old one, and had its issues. so decided to get a newer used conditioned portable air conditioner, which we're going to be picking up today because they are turning off the air conditioning soon, which makes sense. I mean, it's fall. It's just that this building gets very, very warm to the extent where sleeping can impact sleeping, not just for me but also for Joe. So that's the one thing that we're doing this morning. He's also driving me up to Taro's Fish, which is a Japanese fish store, and they also have Japanese. I think what they do is Taro's provides fish for a lot of sushi places in the city, or even like fish to a lot of restaurants in the city. So they have sort of the source. They're very fresh, and they also provide takeout sushi. So that's something that I just wanted to go and do, especially because they're only open from like Wednesdays to Saturdays from 12 to 6. Jill works on Saturdays generally, so Saturdays hasn't been really an option for us to go. And now that we have our own vehicle, like we can pretty much go maybe before he starts work and stuff like that. So maybe even in the future, like Saturdays might be a time that we can go. But today, I actually was talking to him about it a few days ago that I would like to go, and he remembered, and he said, you know what, let's get you out on Wednesday. We'll go pick this air conditioner up and go to Taro's Fish and just get you out of the house for a little bit. So I think that that'll be a good idea. And then I'll be coming back and puttering around, hopefully getting a few more things done around the house. And that's the plan. And hopefully that'll be good for my mental health and my energy and how I'm feeling about things. So that is the update for today. It's Wednesday, October 14th. And tomorrow morning I have another nurse's clinic, so that will help me sort of ease my mind a little bit about this leakage that's going on, and hopefully the pain doesn't increase throughout the day today, so that it doesn't mean that I'll have to go back to the IR department to get this thing looked at again, because that, like I mentioned, it's not something that I want to be doing. So, 2 games last night. I don't think I got through either of them because I was tired and went to sleep. I believe that the Atlanta Braves are up by now. They're up by 2 games on the Dodgers, which is pretty crazy. Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers ace, I think he had to get scratched at the last moment because of some back spasms that he was having. And so they had to bring in a guy who hadn't pitched in like 14 days or something like that. But I think the Braves won that game. And I don't know what happened with the Rays and Astros game. The Rays were up by 2 games. The Astros were up by 1 run when I went to sleep. Hopefully the Rays were able to come back and win that game. But I guess we'll see. And again, when you're watching this, none of this completely inconsequential, but that's part of the things that I'm tracking at this time. So I'm just sharing it with you. So that's where I'm at. I hope you're taking care. And I'm sending a ton of love and care your way. And if you are also thinking about love and care for all the people in your life that you love and care for, but also maybe send some my way as well. I'd really appreciate that. So on that note, I will speak to you real soon.